Welcome back to the Quarterly Call. All content is for informational purposes and is not investment advice. Please consult with an investment professional. So we are looking at a really major moment in enterprise tech today. We're breaking down the vision from a huge 2025 keynote. And this really felt like more than just an update. They laid out a whole new roadmap for how businesses are supposed to operate.
They did, and the core of it, the phrase they used over and over, was the agentic enterprise.
The agentic enterprise. Let's start there. What does that actually mean?
It's a fundamental shift in philosophy. It's moving past AI as just, a tool that you use for prediction or something. It's about a true partnership, a collaboration between the human and the AI agent to really drive business results. It's not just automation.
I thought the way they framed it was really compelling. The whole idea is that the AI agents, they handle all the repetitive stuff, the busy work.
Exactly, all the grunt work.
Which then frees up people, employees, to focus on a complex, meaningful work. And the promise they made was...
That was huge.
It was. More time to solve, more energy to connect.
And more humanity in the loop. That's the one that really stuck with me. The claim that this technology will actually make the workplace more human, that's a bold claim.
It's a very bold claim.
Yeah.
But you can see they're backing it up with some pretty significant action. I mean, the main product here, Agentforce, it went from just being an idea, a whisper, to the fastest growing launch in the company's entire history.
That adoption rate says a lot. It tells you the market is, well, it's not just ready, it's hungry for this.
They're not waiting around for a proof of concept. They're betting on it now.
And the keynote provided that proof, didn't it?
Yeah.
They shared that they've been using it internally, dog-fooding it, as they say.
They have. And the numbers were pretty staggering. They used Agentforce to handle over 1.5 million of their own customer service requests.
Before the keynote even happened. Before anyone in the public really saw it at scale. That volume, 1.5 million queries, that's not a test. That's a system operating under real-world pressure.
And that experience, that internal testing, it led them to pose this central question to the whole industry.
It did. The choice is AI going to replace us, or are we going to command it?
And their answer was pretty definitive.
Absolutely. We command it. The whole vision is built on AI that elevates people, and it has to be built on a foundation of trust. The future they see isn't artificial. It's, as they put it, profoundly human.
That's interesting because the narratives are so often about replacement.
Right. But they stress that AI is amazing at certain things. Calculation, processing data, finding patterns. It's incredible. Right. But as one of the speakers said, AI doesn't feel, AI doesn't care, but we do. And that's the strategic goal. The human, with their judgment and their ethics, has to be in charge, using these agents to cut through the complexity of modern business.
So it's about freeing up people to do the things only people can do.
To realize their full potential. That's the mission.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Let's analyze the problem that this whole agentic enterprise idea is supposed to solve. They identified something they called the agentic divide.
Yes, and this isn't just a small issue. They frame it as a massive systemic failure in how enterprise tech works today.
A strategic gap.
A huge one. And it really just boils down to the difference between the technology you use in your personal life and the technology you're forced to use at work.
It's so true. I mean, think about your phone.
Exactly. On your phone, you've got these incredibly powerful large language models, AI that's integrated into everything, personalized recommendations. The experience is just seamless and intelligent.
But then you log into your work system.
And you hit a brick wall. Suddenly you're dealing with siloed data, rigid workflows, clunky interfaces. It feels like you've gone back in time 10 years.
That's the divide. Consumers are getting elevated by AI, while employees are kind of stuck in the mud of old systems.
And that's not just frustrating for people. It's a massive productivity killer. And, it's a real security risk, too. Because when the official tools don't work well, what do employees do? They find workarounds. They use consumer apps that haven't been vetted for security or compliance. Shadow IT.
Right. So they see closing this gap as the next big revolution. After cloud, mobile, social, this is the next wave.
Driven by intelligent agents. But, and this is the hard part, you can't just sprinkle some AI on top of that old, messy infrastructure.
They were very clear about that. The quote that stood out to me was, you don't have your data right, you're not going to get your AI right.
That's the absolute heart of it. The whole promise of agentic AI falls apart without good, integrated data.
So you can't just point a powerful model at a messy database and hope for the best.
No, you'll get garbage. Unreliable, unpredictable, untrustworthy results. Success requires these fully integrated solutions, clear goals, and really, really strong governance.
It's the decades of legacy systems, right? Data is everywhere. CRM, ERP, supply chain, all in their own little boxes.
And the agents need access to all of it in real time to be effective.
They also brought up some external validation for their platform approach, didn't they? I think they mentioned an MIT study.
They did, and it basically backed up their argument, suggesting that trying to do it yourself,
Right.
rolling your own models, it just doesn't work for most big companies.
It's too complex for a DIY approach.
The cost is astronomical. Not just the computing power, but finding the talent and then the constant need to fine-tune the models, patch for security. For most companies, it's a recipe for failure, especially on the governance front.
Enterprises need things to be predictable, reliable.
Which brings you back to a platform approach, one with guardrails built in.
And those guardrails bring us back to the human in the loop. They were pretty candid about the models not being perfect.
Yeah, they said the LMs are great, but not perfect. The phrase they used was that sometimes they take a hard right turn.
Which is a very diplomatic way of saying they can hallucinate or just get things completely wrong.
Exactly. And you absolutely cannot tolerate that when you're dealing with a legal contract or a major financial transaction.
So you need the human there to validate, to course correct.
And to apply that ethical, emotional context that the AI just doesn't have. This partnership model is really the only way you can guarantee the outcomes you want, like customer loyalty and trust.
It seems like their big partners are on the same page. They highlighted an interview with Brad Lightcott from OpenAI.
Absolutely. The vision is totally in sync. It's all about unlocking human potential. And they see 3 steps to get there.
Okay.
First, you have to deeply integrate the AI with the systems people are already using. You augment. You don't just rip and replace. Second, you create new experiences that actually let people focus on higher value work.
Great. And the third?
The third is that all of it, every single piece, has to be built on an unshakable foundation of trust, security, and governance.
So bridging that agentic divide isn't just about buying a new tool.
No, it's an overhaul. It demands an integrated, secure platform built on clean data with the human consciously in command. That is a massive, massive mandate for any CIO.
It certainly is. So let's talk about the product that's designed to deliver on that mandate, the Agentforce 360 platform.
Right. And the scope here is, well, it's huge. This is not some incremental update. They have rebuilt their entire Customer 360 suite on top of this new agentic layer.
So a total architectural commitment to this model.
A total commitment. And they're expanding way beyond their traditional CRM space.
I saw that. It's not just sales, marketing, and service anymore.
No, they are moving aggressively into these, high friction back office areas. They've got new products for IT service management, ITSM.
Wow, okay.
Also HR service, revenue management, supply chain, field service, plus a MuleSoft agent fabric to connect everything, and a completely new version of Tableau. All of it is now agentic.
And Slack seems to be the command center for all of this. They called it an agentic OS.
That's the vision. It becomes the single place where you interact with these agents, whether you're trying to analyze a deal or, handle a customer renewal.
So with all these new areas, how do they make the agents effective? An agent for sales must be very different from an agent for supply chain.
It is. And that's why they haven't just built 1 or 2 generic agents. They revealed they've developed over 300 specialized agents.
300.
Over 300. And they're tailored for the specific needs of different industries. Financial services, healthcare, public sector, manufacturing. They all have their own unique data, their own regulations.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also incredibly complex. I mean, how do you govern 300 specialized agents all running at the same time? It sounds like a change management nightmare.
It would be, and that is exactly why the conversation immediately pivoted to the idea of context.
Okay.
The key component that makes this all work isn't the underlying language model, it's the data foundation. The keynote just hammered this point home again and again.
Deep data integration is what matters.
It's the only thing that matters. Without that deep integrated context, those 300 agents are just, expensive toys. They become unpredictable and inaccurate.
And that's where their new Data Cloud Data 360 comes in.
Right. Conceptually, it's simple. Architecturally, it's immense. Its only job is to take all that messy, raw, siloed enterprise data.
Structured, unstructured.
All of it. And turn it into clean, usable context for your AI agents. The goal is to give the agent a single, holistic view of the customer, the product, the history, the permissions. everything.
And once you have that intelligent context,
Yeah.
you can unlock new capabilities. They mentioned things like voice.
New voice capabilities, yeah. Also, the ability for customers to bring their own foundation models. They recognize that a big company might have a strategic partnership with another AI provider.
That makes sense.
And then you get into the real enterprise plumbing. Observability, so you can see what the agent's doing. Orchestration, which allows for agent-to-agent communication.
So multiple specialized agents can work together on a complex process.
Exactly, and this is where that big strategic pivot happens. The focus is no longer on prompt engineering.
Right.
The focus is now entirely on context engineering.
That distinction feels like one of the most important takeaways from the whole event. Prompt engineering is a skill. Context engineering is, well, it's fixing 20 years of technical debt.
That is perfectly put. Prompt engineering is like teaching a parrot a clever phrase. Context engineering is building the entire world for that parrot to understand. All the data, all the permissions, all the business logic.
It's strategically much, much harder.
It requires a complete rethink of your data architecture, but it's the only way to get the reliability you need for a mission-critical business process.
And reliability comes back to trust and security.
Mm.
How does the platform handle the governance risks?
They've built it in from the ground up. Governance, security, backup, recovery. It's all supported by APIs, SDKs, and DevOps tools.
Okay.
But importantly, they stress that even though it's a unified platform, Agentforce 360, it's also open and extensible.
And why is that openness so critical?
Because no company lives in a single vendor world. A CIO is never going to rip out their entire tech stack. The platform has to play nice with the existing ecosystem.
So it can't be a walled garden.
It can't. They showed a great example of Salesforce data, like a customer record, surfacing automatically and intelligently inside of Microsoft Teams. That kind of interoperability is what makes a massive change like this possible in a real-world company.
So you have the big architectural foundation, but adoption really depends on empowering the people who have to build on it. They talked about their 21 million trailblazers.
Right. And the new tools are all aimed at making it possible for anyone to build complex things. They introduced something called Agentforce Vibes.
Which they called a superpower for developers.
It is. Agentforce Vibes, or Vibe code, is designed to be the fastest way to build an app or a dashboard using just natural language. You describe what you want, and it builds it.
The demo for this was pretty stunning. They built a Dreamforce command center, a whole real-time analytics dashboard.
And the developer just wrote a description, listed the metrics they wanted, the data they needed, even specified things like dark mode with blue accent colors.
So what's the magic there? How is that different from other text-to-code tools?
The key is that Vibes doesn't just understand language. It understands the language of the business.
What does that mean?
It means it understands your data model. It knows what a customer is, what a product is, what the relationships are between them, and what permissions are needed to access that data. It's generating the metadata, not just lines of code.
And the data connection was automatic, right? It just found the right data for the charts.
It did. It leveraged the Tableau semantic model, so the developer didn't have to do any of that manual data mapping. It just works.
Then they took it a step further. They asked it to build a complex automation, a screen flow.
Yeah, the command was something like, build a flow to deploy our mascots to Dreamforce locations. Just a simple sentence.
And that translated into all the complex Salesforce metadata needed to actually run that process.
It did. And the presenter pointed out that each step the AI generated probably saved around 35 clicks in the old school builder. When you scale that up, you're talking about a massive acceleration in development time.
It shifts the work from tedious configuration to strategic design.
Exactly. It democratizes it. You don't have to be a deep technical expert to build powerful automations anymore. You just need to know the business outcome you want.
Okay, so that's vibe code. But they also talked about a big overhaul to the main Agentforce builder itself.
They did. And this is where they address the central tension of using natural language.
Which is that it can be messy.
It's messy and unpredictable. People don't give instructions in a clear, linear way. And for a mission-critical process like approving a huge loan, you can't have any unpredictability.
So how do you solve for that? How do you get reliability from a messy input?
The solution is a technology called AgentScript.
AgentScript.
Think of it as a governance layer. It takes that messy, unpredictable, natural language from the user, and it transforms it into deterministic code.
Okay, so it's like a translator and a set of guardrails.
That's a perfect way to describe it. It ensures that no matter how vaguely the human asks for something, the final executed process is reliable, secure, and follows all the predefined business logic. It's the bridge between conversational ease and enterprise-grade certainty.
Got it. So that's the tech foundation. Now let's get to the real-world impact. They presented 5 deep customer stories to show what this actually looks like in practice.
And these case studies really show why that integrated context is so crucial. This isn't theory anymore. This is how major companies are fundamentally resetting how they operate.
First up was Williams-Sonoma, a classic high-end retail brand.
Their mission is all about helping customers fall in love with hosting and cooking, and they deployed an agent named Olive, an AI sous chef on Agentforce service.
And the speed of deployment was the first thing that jumped out.
30 days. Olive was live in 30 days, and she provides personalized recipes and video tutorials.
But the key is that personalization. It's not just random recipes, right?
Not at all. It's tied directly to your purchase history, so if you just bought a new Dutch oven from them,
Olive is right there showing you what to cook in it.
exactly, complete with video guides. It turns a simple transaction into a lasting, valuable connection with the customer.
The CEO, Laura Albert, she talked about making the online experience feel as warm as being in their physical stores.
She did. And for them, the value was clear. First, the speed of getting it done in 30 days. But second, the time it saves their customers, especially during the holiday season, which she called their Super Bowl. That translates directly into loyalty.
Okay, next up was Pandora, the jewelry brand.
The world's largest jewelry brand. And their goal was to bring that in-store magic, that personal touch, to their online experience.
And they did that with an agent named Gemma.
Gemma, the personal shopper agent, built on Agentforce Commerce. And she's designed to solve that problem of selling something emotional and relationship-based online.
So she knows your history, your preferences.
She does. So her recommendations are tailored. And she can handle the whole transaction, from the first conversation to the final confirmation, all within that single chat interface.
The most impressive part of that demo, for me, was the service continuity,
Oh, yeah. The handoff.
the handoff.
Yeah.
So a customer is chatting with Gemma online, then decides to call the store to book a cleaning appointment.
And the agent who answers the phone, using Agentforce Voice, instantly has the full context of that entire online chat.
No repeating yourself, no starting over, just a seamless experience.
The VP who spoke, David, he was refreshingly honest. He said he was really skeptical about another AI pitch.
I can imagine.
But he confirmed the software worked straight out of the box. And for him, the strategic win was translating that emotional storytelling part of selling jewelry, a charm, for a daughter's 16th birthday into the digital world.
That's a total reset of their e-commerce strategy.
It is. Then we had PepsiCo, and they've set a really aggressive goal.
To be agentic AI first by the end of 2026.
A huge goal, and they showed how it impacts their entire value chain: marketing, sales, field service.
Let's start with marketing and sales. How does it work there?
It dramatically speeds up lead nurturing. So a potential retailer, like a corner store, can go to their website and have a real two-way conversation with an agent.
Okay.
Then the agent takes over. It sends personalized follow-up emails, not templates. These emails include specific data, like a list of the best-selling PepsiCo products in stores right near that retailer's location.
Wow. That's hyper-personalization.
And it nurtures that lead and schedules meetings 24/7. It turns a slow, manual process into a continuous engagement engine.
And for the sales team, Slack is their agentic home.
It is. The agents push Tableau analytics right into Slack, give them risk analysis on their deals, generate prep briefs for their meetings. The salesperson always has the context they need.
And what about field service? That seemed like a huge transformation.
It was a perfect example. A technician out on a job gets a proactive brief on their phone before they even start. If they see a part they don't recognize, they can just take a picture of it.
And the agent identifies it for them.
Instantly. But here's the real game changer. When the job is done, the agent autonomously writes the entire post-work summary report.
That must save them hours.
Hours of paperwork. And then it goes one step further. The agent analyzes the situation and proactively identifies a sales opportunity. It actually turns the service technician into a seller on the spot.
Connecting service directly to revenue.
Exactly. PepsiCo's chief strategy officer, Athena, she said their goal is to connect everything. All operations, all processes. It's about empowering every single employee to drive profitable growth.
Okay, that brings us to FedEx, a company with just an unbelievable amount of data.
An incredible data challenge. 2 petabytes of data, 100 billion transactions a day. Their logistics intelligence is their crown jewel.
But they had a problem making that data useful for their agents.
A classic AI problem. Their agents were struggling with complex sales questions, and the reason was that their unstructured data, like a 200-page PDF of shipping regulations,
Yeah.
it was being arbitrarily chunked or broken up by page number when it was ingested by the system.
So it was losing all the context. If the answer to a question was spread across page 37 and page 38, the AI couldn't find it.
It couldn't put it together. This is the textbook case for why you need context engineering, not just prompt engineering.
And Data 360 was the solution.
Data 360's intelligent parsing could understand that an answer might live across multiple pages, tables, and charts, so it could give a complete, accurate answer to a really complex question like, what's the best service to ship a 50-pound box of apparel from Austin to Berlin?
And that empowers the sales team to close more deals.
As their COO said, it helps them convert more opportunities into closed businesses.
They also showed some really sophisticated governance features.
They did. The ability to create a data masking policy just using natural language, like an admin could just type, mask all internal employee contact info from any external-facing responses.
And the system just enforces it. No coding required.
No coding. And they're using it internally, too. Agentforce IT service handles employee requests like getting a new laptop right in Slack. It offloads a ton of routine work from the IT team.
And it even acts as a troubleshooter.
Yeah, in the demo, a widespread VPN issue occurred. The agent analyzed the incident patterns, figured out it was probably caused by a recent software update, and allowed for a rapid rollback of that change.
The COO, Richard Smith, he tied it all back to their founder's original vision.
He did. The information about the package is as important as the package itself. And these tools are what finally allow them to operationalize that information at scale.
Finally, we have Dell,
Yeah.
transforming their absolutely mission-critical supply chain.
And this isn't a pilot program. They already have over 19,000 users on Agentforce supply chain, automating thousands of processes.
The big focus there was speed of development, building new processes.
Insane speed. They showed building a whole blueprint for a new supplier, onboarding process forms, data model, security, everything in just minutes.
And they did it by uploading existing documents. The most amazing part was when they uploaded a hand-drawn diagram.
Literally chicken scratch on a piece of paper. The agent analyzed that unstructured drawing, understood the process flow, and generated a fully functional blueprint.
That's months of work saved. Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Easily. And once that blueprint exists, the supply chain agent runs the whole show. It orchestrates the entire workflow from end to end.
Which frees up the human managers who used to spend their whole day chasing emails and updating spreadsheets.
Exactly. And the results were concrete. Dell took their supplier onboarding process from 60 days down to 20 days.
A massive competitive advantage.
Huge. And it's not just a one-time fix. The system drives continuous improvement. The Tableau agent can actually query the supply chain agent to find bottlenecks.
So it can say, hey, this financial document validation step is always slowing things down.
And then a manager knows exactly where to focus their attention to make the process even better.
Michael Dell himself came on to provide the strategic context for all this.
He did. He gave some mentoring advice. He said you have to focus on the big processes that really move the needle. And his steps were simple. Simplify, standardize, reimagine, and only then do you apply the technology.
He framed it as an existential issue.
He did. He warned that if you don't do this, you risk being displaced by a new competitor who is faster and has a lower cost structure. He called for a total business reset, moving from machines that calculate to machines that think.
That idea of a total business reset is the perfect segue to the advice from Accenture's CEO, Julie Sweet.
It is. She was very direct. She said just buying AI tools isn't enough. You have to reinvent everything you do.
And she had a simple test for executives.
A very powerful test. She said if you don't see a big delta, a radical difference between how you used to operate and how you operate now, you are already falling behind.
And the customer stories we just heard, those are big deltas. 60 days down to 20. A service tech becoming a seller.
Exactly. Those aren't small tweaks. They are fundamentally different ways of running a business. This is a CEO-level mandate. It's about rethinking job descriptions and organizational structures.
It's a huge HR and training challenge. If the agents handle the busy work, what do the humans do now?
Their jobs have to realign around strategy, creativity, empathy, the things the machines can't do.
Amid all this talk of technology and reinvention, they did take a moment to ground the conversation in their corporate values.
They did. They talked about their 111 model, which they started 26 years ago. 1% equity, 1% profit, and 1% employee time to philanthropy.
And the numbers are pretty impressive. Nearly $1 billion in giving, services for 62,000 nonprofits.
10 million hours of volunteerism. They highlighted it to make the point that this kind of massive technological growth can and should go hand in hand with philanthropy.
They also mentioned a specific focus on education, adopting local public schools.
Yeah, specifically helping middle schoolers who fell behind on basic reading and writing during the pandemic. It felt like a very pragmatic, focused effort.
And they closed that section with a message from Jane Goodall.
A powerful message linking all this innovation to our responsibility for the planet. She urged businesses to be a platform for change and to drive ecopreneurial thinking.
A call to action. So before we wrap up, we should touch on the business side of this. How do companies actually pay for this massive transformation?
Right. They acknowledged that the old, rigid pricing models just don't work for this new world of AI consumption.
The costs can be really unpredictable.
Very, especially the cost of LLM tokens and the high volume of actions. So to give customers predictability, they introduced some new flexible models.
Like the Agentic Enterprise License Agreement.
Exactly. An ELA for customers making a long-term strategic commitment, giving them unlimited access. But they also have action-based and flex credit models for others.
It seems like a necessary step. It removes one of the big barriers for a CIO who's trying to budget for a huge AI deployment.
It's a smart move. It shows they're willing to adapt their own business model to help their customers transform.
So we've gone through the architecture, the tools, the real-world impact.
Yeah.
What's the final provocative thought for our listeners who are trying to navigate all this?
I think it comes back to that line from Michael Dell, the shift from calculating and computing to thinking. This agentic enterprise vision provides all the tools to automate the predictable, the transactional work. But the real value, the thing that will set a company apart, remains uniquely human.
Our ability to feel, to care.
Our ability to connect with the customer emotionally, to apply judgment to a tricky situation, to innovate from a place of genuine empathy. So the final question for you to think about is this. Once the agents are handling all that predictable work, how will you and your teams consciously use that new gift of time and energy? How will you focus on the deeply human work that AI can never replicate, and in doing so, unlock your true potential?
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Quarterly Call. For more episodes, please remember to rate and follow our show. Until next time, stay curious and stay informed.